law attorney and a Fox News contributor. I'm sorry, did I call you Jonathan Turley or Jonathan Attorney? I wasn't sure there.
Either one works.
Yeah.
Thank you.
So
yes.
Listen, you wrote recently about the makeup of the jury. I take it based on that, you're not surprised by this verdict.
No, a number of us indicated that you couldn't have a more favorable jury composition. I don't think it's hard to argue against that. You had 3 Clinton donors, an AOC donor, at least one juror that seemed to struggle with the question of impartiality. You also had a juror whose daughter is serving on a sports team with the daughter of the defendant. So all of that really sort of raised some flags for many of us. But this is D.C., where 90% of your jury pool voted for Hillary Clinton. And jurors, to be fair, often do overcome any personal hesitation, bias, pressure from the outside. But what made this case particularly curious is the rulings of the court. You know, the difference between this and the Flynn trial was like night and day. In the Flynn trial, the judge virtually joined the prosecution team and actually used the flag in the courtroom as a prop to condemn Flynn. In this case, the prosecution was really faced with a series of obstacles where the court limited the evidence and the scope of examination that Durham's people could put on in the trial.
You know, the judge, Christopher Cooper, at one point was considering recusing himself. Ended up he didn't, because his wife, who was an attorney, at one point had represented Lisa Page, the famous duo of Strzok and Page.
Yeah, and that was a lot of the optics here that concerned people. I think that Durham understood that he was in fairly adverse settings for this trial. But, you know, the people of good faith could question elements like materiality on this type of charge. But there is this striking contrast between how this trial was handled and prior trials under the Mueller investigation. One thing that came out of this that I did raise recently is the importance that John Durham produce a report. You know, many Democrats came out and insisted that Mueller be allowed to not only produce a report, but release it unredacted. It's very important for John Durham to do the same thing, because the limitations on this trial really did indicate that there's a mountain of evidence that Durham may not have revealed, and that this could be an iceberg where we've only seen a small percentage of what he's been able to find.
So let's just rewind a little bit earlier today. Here's what Michael Sussmann said after the verdict was rendered. Listen here.
I have a few thoughts to share now that the trial has ended. First, I told the truth to the FBI, and the jury clearly recognized that with their unanimous verdict today. I'm grateful to the members of the jury for their careful and thoughtful service. Despite being falsely accused, I'm relieved that justice ultimately prevailed in my case. As you can imagine, this has been a difficult year for my family and me, but right now we are just grateful for the love and support of so many during this ordeal, and I'm looking forward to getting back to the work that I love.
So he said there, I told the truth, but there's an issue here. It's whether or not what he said to the FBI, truthful or not, was material to the case, or whether it was just simply a lie. I mean, it looks like the jury decided that it wasn't material to the case, as opposed to you lied to the FBI.
Well, I would be surprised, even with a favorable jury, that they concluded that Michael Sussmann told the truth. You know, the text that he sent was in fact false, according to Durham and according to the view of many people. He said, I'm not representing anyone. I'm just basically a citizen coming forth with important information. And by the way, that information itself was completely unsupportable. I mean, it was really almost a tinfoil hat conspiracy theory that there was a secret line of communication running through a bank between the Trump campaign and the Kremlin. And, you know, he pushed that into the FBI, just like the Clinton campaign pushed the Steele dossier into the FBI. But the jury really didn't see that full context. They didn't see the pattern that existed. But I doubt he would get many takers in saying that this trial really proved that he told the truth. I think that's beyond the verdict here.
All right, Jonathan Turley with his thoughts on the Sussmann case. And we'll see where Durham goes next. Jonathan, thank you.
Thanks, John.